Now you need them to teach you how to be you. So kick back, relax, get cozy. I'm just falling back, having a brewski. You know what I mean? Don't mind me. Learning how to be ingenious again, indigenous again. Having our genes connected to the land, something in us should start to remember. So, yeah, y'all know we on that primitive technology, man. I mean, he just kind of comes out, builds some shit. That's pretty much it. So, so much of this we can apply, especially when you start looking at the type of, trees around and the situations, you know what I'm saying? Let me tell you, man, if you don't learn to be self-sufficient, that's your ass. It's cold work. And this is by himself. I don't know how long it took, but this is by himself. So imagine, imagine unity. Imagine unity. What would be your life waking up on your land? What's your life when your land is paid for? You're harnessing the sun, the solar energy, everything the Creator has given you. What would be your life? I mean, you're not trying to hustle to pay bills because you're living on the land that you own. That is your community. Services are provided for free. Because when everyone is giving everything free, everything is free. That is freedom. That is a kingdom of freedom. Do you desire freedom? Man. Oh, man. Technique. Don't sweat the technique. Don't sweat the technique. Oh man, don't you love surfing the wave? Oh man. Learn how to be ingenious again. Fall back, let them teach you, man. Fall back. Let them teach you. They owe it to you, man, to give you back something. Let them teach you something. Look at that. Look at that, man. So, man, y'all hear that? It's 3 o'clock in the morning, man. My 2-year-old is still up. Oh, man. See, I'm trying to surf the wave. I thought I was safe, man. I thought I was safe. I thought it was all good. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Hope y'all appreciate, man. Hope y'all appreciate the sacrifice. All right, man, I'm going to go check on this guy. Remember this, man. Fair use, all up in your caboose, first and foremost. All right? And don't you play. That's not how we get down. Don't you play. And I'm going to jump right into this, man. I'm going to let it play because this is dope. And we will be conversing about it. Tree drop. Plants can speak. Plants can speak. Plants have consciousness. Memory. Water is memory. All right, man. Daddy daycare. Let me go surf the wave, man, in a whole nother way. Y'all dig on this, man. I'll be right back to dig on it with you. Love to Drop Nation for this drop, man. This is pretty amazing. Plants can speak. And what does it say about trees with mountains with trees? Let go.
Welcome to the Baxter School of Light Detection. I'm Cleve Baxter, and during the next 6 weeks here in San Diego, you're going to be involved in a very intensified instructional course in the use of the polygraph, or so-called lie detector.
In the course of a career dedicated to investigation for federal and municipal law enforcement agencies, Cleve Baxter has earned a reputation as the world's foremost authority on the polygraph.
Well, as of February 2nd, 1966, I'd been in the polygraph field full-time for 18 years. And this particular morning, I'd been working all night in the laboratory and had decided to water a plant in the lab, very similar to the plant here, Dracaena cane plant. My thought was that as the moisture arrived to the leaf of the plant, the plant should be a better conductor. I should get a reading on the chart. Well, strangely enough, I didn't get this at all, and in fact, it did just the opposite. Instead of the tracing edging upward as it should have on the chart, it went into sort of a wild excitation, very similar to the first part of a human taking a polygraph test. But then it occurred to me, just about 14 minutes along, what would be the real optimum threat to the well-being of a plant. In fact, the imagery of fire entered my mind, and I not only thought, but I fully intended to burn the very leaf that was being tested with a match. Now, I had no matches in the room at the time, and I don't smoke, and I had to go next door to my secretary's area to get a match. But the interesting thing is that right at the split second that imagery of fire entered my mind, the tracing reflecting the changes in the plant just went right off the top of the page. And the only thing that occurred at that time, no lighting of a match, nothing else, merely the imagery of fire. And I must say that as of 14 minutes along in that initial observation on the morning of February 2nd, 1966, my life just hasn't been the same.
Responding to the initial experience, when a plant apparently read his mind, Baxter works nights on his own in his small laboratory. His goal is to perfect an experiment that will satisfy the rigid criteria of the scientific establishment. Baxter hopes to show that plants react to any termination of life in their immediate environment. During the next 6 hours, at some undetermined moment, chosen by a randomizer, these brine shrimp will fall to their deaths in boiling water. By totally automating his equipment, Baxter is determined to eliminate human influence. In another room, completely separate from his laboratory, Baxter has placed a philodendron plant, a polygraph, and a videotape recorder. Carefully, he places a leaf between a pair of electrodes that will monitor the electrical activity of the plant. As he has done during countless police interrogations, Baxter establishes a baseline on his polygraph to get an accurate recording of the reaction of his subjects. The video recorder will tape the details of the experiment in Baxter's absence.
All right, man, pay attention. Woo!
For the automation of this experiment to be successful,
Put little man
I
back
have
to
to
sleep.
get a certain distance away from my lab
Let
so
go.
that my consciousness won't affect the results.
Shout out to all the pops out there, man. All them pops that know what time it is. Shout out to the mamas. Shout out to mamas, where would we be? Shit. Love to all y'all. Plants can speak. Y'all think this is play? Pay attention.
The California dawn often finds Cleve Baxter still at work in a small room behind his laboratory. The results of each night's work must be carefully analyzed and recorded. In spite of his high percentage of successful results, only a few daring individuals from the scientific establishment have come forward with offers to replicate his experiments or test his results. The great majority are content simply to condemn his efforts without taking the trouble to investigate their validity.
If you brine shrimp die and the plant feels their death, I think it's the smallness of the event that makes it so significant. It means that even on the lower levels of life, there's a profound consciousness or an awareness that binds all things together.
Research conducted in the Soviet Union leads scientists to believe that plants may think. Attached to delicate electronic instruments, a cabbage plant registers annoyance to the exhaling of tobacco smoke on its leaf surfaces.
Wow.
A scene familiar in any kitchen takes on special importance in this experiment.
Володя, переключи задание по всем параметрам. Тамара, бери препарат. Все готовы? Начинай.
In some mysterious way, the plant which is attached to the instrument is able to feel the mutilation of its comrade.
Wow. Whoa, man. Wow.
In a more advanced experiment, technicians were asked to pass through a laboratory containing 2 living cabbage plants. One of the subjects has been instructed to destroy the plant which is not attached to the electronic instruments.
Wow. Everything is connected. So imagine your trees, people. They cut down your trees. Imagine your trees. Imagine your sacred trees, the connectivity.
Hours later, the technicians are asked to return to the scene of the crime. The evidence is clear. The remaining plant has correctly identified the assailant.
Ты должна быть сердитой.
So this thing, it started going crazy because it remembers these people mutilating its friend. So imagine sacred trees and the connections and how they would remember the enemy when the enemy is near, and how they know when 432 based on vibration. Check this out again. When they walk in the room, look how the plant remembers. These are the people that jammed up the homie.
Hours later, the technicians are asked to return to the scene of the crime. The evidence is clear. The remaining plant has correctly identified the assailant.
Молодец. Ты должна быть сердитой.
Please take notice, fellow humans. The following clip shows an intelligent thinking, speaking cactus plant. We may hear it speak thanks to a device designed to convert plant electrical energy to sound vibration. Everything's vibration. What did Tesla say? What did Mr. Free Energy say? If you want to understand the secrets, if you want to get the drop, he said the secrets of the universe, but we know what he really means. If you want to know all the drop, you got to break it down into energy, frequency, and vibration. So what was the vibration from plant to plant? What's the connectivity from plant to plant? What's the electricity? What's the energy from plant to plant? What's the sound? Can you hear it speak? Can you hear these plants speak?
During recent years, gardening enthusiasts throughout Japan have been privileged to witness the remarkable demonstrations of Dr. and Mrs. Kenneth Hashimoto. Dr. Hashimoto, Managing Director and Chief of Research for the Fuji Electronic Industries, has constructed special instruments which translate the electrical output of plants into modulated sounds, giving voice to a cactus. Relying on her affinity for plants, Mrs. Hashimoto looks forward to actual conversation with her cactus. Convinced that it possesses an intelligence, she is determined to teach it the Japanese alphabet.
I know. You're in one of those what the moments. Did I just hear a cactus speak Japanese? I have to reaffirm you into reality that, yes, you just heard a cactus speak Japanese. Yeah, I'm going to get that back so you can dig on it.
Convinced that it possesses an intelligence, she is determined to teach it the Japanese alphabet.
Not that. Not that.
Norman Goldstein, a professor of biology and expert in the new science of electrophysiology, agrees to review the results of the experiment, which will determine whether the plant Mimosa pudica actually responds to human emotions.
As you can see, we have a normal copper screen and such as that Faraday cage, block out electromagnetic signals, radiations. But in addition to that, we have a plexiglass over here that blocks the wind movements and ion movements and air flows that would, shake the plant, cause abnormal signals. We also have a motion detector in here, which will allow us to look and see whether any external motions or movements have interfered with the experiment, so we can tell when the plant is actually vibrating.
Where's the subject with respect to the cage now?
Well, we're going to seat him, within a few feet of the cage, probably about 5 feet. And he'll be viewing a screen, he'll be watching a stimulus movie that we're providing. And then his emotional responses should carry over into the cage here and affect the plant. That's what we're hoping for.
We're going to be measuring your galvanic skin response, which means your emotional activity.
Okay. Let's hope there is some.
Is that too tight?
No, that's great.
Okay. This is going to measure your blood volume. And this will measure the muscle tension in your forehead, or the EMG.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Good.
experiment is quite well done, then you're claiming that the individual's response is producing some kind of energy display. When you're finished analyzing your data and it supports your contentions, you can imagine what importance this could be. You can imagine it'll change our whole picture of how we relate to plants, so that we're interacting with them all the time.
It'll change your whole picture of how you interact with your trees, with your mountains. You returning to your mountains is returning to your trees, to your plants, to your grid. This is how you escape or overcome or get freedom from Thoth's grid. Thoth's hijack grid does not cover every place. Some places resonate at a frequency that is thoughtless. And your trees resonate at a frequency beyond the barrier of thought. So this is what we're resonating. Keep digging on it for, a few more minutes. And we're going to surf and get some more goodies, man. Surfing the wave with us, man. Kingdrop, Drop Nation. This is all your drop. This is all what you send to me. I'd like to give it back to you. So you're surfing the wave with Drop Nation. Let's go.
For 6 years, L. George Lawrence, a Silesian-born electronics engineer, has used an abandoned prospector's cave in the California desert as a base of operations for research in a new science called biocommunications. His purpose in choosing such a remote location was to eliminate man-made electronic interference during a series of remarkable experiments.
I started my work on plants in 1962 while I was an engineer in the aerospace industry. And at that time, it was one of our goals to develop jam-proof missile components. Now, after much experimentation, my attention turned to living plant material, in particular to plant leaves. Plant leaves are able to react to gravitational changes, to temperature changes, to electrostatic fields, and so on, simultaneously. Now, a man-made sensing device cannot do this. So, as time went on, and I experimented with these various plants and plant leaves, I noted very unusual reaction patterns. Now, at that time, I thought that my equipment was defective. It did not occur to me that I was witnessing a profound consciousness in these living...
All right, so we went from plants to trees right before your eyes. Pay attention.
Plants. When I was an engineer, nuts and bolts man, I needed to perfect a machine-based system just for the specific purpose of finding out the truth about consciousness in plants. And to my extreme surprise, it worked. There is indeed a consciousness in the plant kingdom.
Lawrence's latest equipment differs significantly from that of other researchers. It dispenses with the necessity to use electrodes directly attached to the subject. He has found through experiments that living vegetable tissue perceives signals with greater sensitivity than electronic sensors.
Hold up, man. We got to hear that again.
These tiny mustards...
Just dig on it.
There is indeed a consciousness in the plant kingdom.
And if there's a consciousness in the plant kingdom, put it together. Put it together, people. That your kingdom is the wave. That the plants are on a wave. Is your wave separate or with the trees? That's what we're getting to. If you don't give a shit about the trees, you might not give a shit about your vibration. You might not give a shit about what the creator, what the energy, what the objective of even having a community keep commandments is. It's only to tune them into a frequency. How do you tune a community into 432? You teach them not to kill and steal and to honor the father and mother. You know what I'm saying? Don't, take from another man what his man, what your brother is. Don't jack anything that has to do with your brother. Don't bear false witness. Rock your vibration with your creator. Rock it. Put no power before your power. Rock it. It tunes you up. You are in a wave of consciousness you are already swimming in.
Lawrence's latest equipment differs significantly from that of other researchers. It dispenses with the necessity to use electrodes directly attached to the subject. He has found through experiments that living vegetable tissue perceives signals with greater sensitivity than electronic sensors. These tiny mustard seeds, removed from a nutrient bath at the point of germination, will act as antennae to receive distant biological radiation. Emerging into the desert night, Lawrence prepares his equipment.
And as it gets prepared, remember what we're talking about with, J Stu, with our tribe, you know what I'm saying, with what we're building, with the land. You know what I mean? It's just the beginning. It's just the starting point. He's choosing this location because it has less interference, man-made electrical interference. So look around when you're driving on your freeways and you see them big-ass, weird-looking 2030-looking machine beast-looking cell phone towers, these weird radiation joints. They just ready to fry this shit like a microwave, man. So to get away from that microwave frequency, to vibrate, I hit up Jay the other day. I said, "What's up, man?" He said, "Nothing, man. I'm just over here chopping wood." I said, "Damn." I said, "Man, you just chopping wood right now?" He said, "Yeah, man. Me and the bro Mario, man. That's what we doing, man. It's a beautiful day, man. We had to hit up the site. They got multiple locations. I mean, these brothers, man, and sisters are getting it all the way real. Keep dropping it on J Stu and the crew. Click on that GoFundMe because you're supporting this crew, this tribe, which is you, a foundation. We're setting up a refuge for you. You dig on it and, believe. Believe. You don't have to force anything. Just believe that there is an opportunity. There is a place. There is something being built that has more to do with anything or just a group of people, this and this and this. We're playing for keeps. We're playing for keeps because the Creator has us here playing for keeps, for everything. To keep ours, to keep our kingdom forever. Forever. Perpetual keeps. They put you in perpetual slavery. We're playing for perpetual keeps. So he's choosing a place with, less interference. And remember, what was Thoth doing? What was Muhammad doing? What was Ishmael doing? What were the fallen angels doing when they were cutting down your trees and destroying your frequency, setting up their own grid, matching up with all these pyramids on top of your sacred trees, on top of your sacred energies, jacking your energy for the celestial, underneath the barrier, underneath the firmament, creating their own, what they call Christ consciousness, hijack consciousness. Why is the King's Chamber and the Pyramid of Giza resonating in 440 hertz? What hijack frequency are you in? Coming out your radio and your TV, 440 hertz. You've been hijacked, people. You're in an illusion. You're in a matrix, a 440 matrix, an illusion, thinking you have to do all this just to live. You just have to be indigenous, rock on your land, build up your land. That is your life. Building your land is your life. What did they do when they cut down our trees? They cut down consciousness. They cut down our connectivity, our energy, our grid to consciousness, our Creator. Hawa.
At the end of a Faraday tube, he inserts the seeds which will monitor the signals. A rotating beam splitter will eliminate radio interference. Consulting a star map, Lawrence searches for the constellation Ursa Major, the Great Bear. It is to celestial coordinates 10 hours, 40 minutes by 56 degrees that he will direct his instrument. Lawrence scans the heavens, waiting for the seeds to receive a distant signal. After analysis of his experiment by the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C., L. George Lawrence believes the living plant tissue in his instrument is receiving a message from outer space.
Plants communicate with each other. It would also appear, in our case, that we have actually eavesdropped on a communication that has gone on for millions and millions of years. And by some freak accident, by simply allowing a sensing instrument to remain pointed at the sky, we were able to intercept what seems to be a universal truth.
All things vibrate, and they vibrate at their own frequencies. When you understand this, you will significantly broaden your understanding of the universe, of the Creator. Don't let them hijack you into their underneath the barrier universe, the celestial universe. No, we're talking about the entire, the whole, playing for keeps, it all, all of it, all the energy, all of it, the Creator. With this understanding, your eyes will open up to things you've never seen before, things previously pushed to the back of your consciousness, and these discoveries and feelings will give new life to your soul. That's a quote from Dr. Masaru Emoto. All right, man. So y'all dig on this, man. Get the rest of it. We're going to keep it rocking, keep it going. We're surfing the wave. We're going right here, man. Love to the brother Lex. Love to the brother Teach. I think Lex dropped this. Teach dropped something on this as well. I want to get some of it before getting into a little bit of what Teach is dropping, man. You know what I'm saying? Where we at? Oh, we got to get into some of this medicine, man. Love to medicine, man. I mean, true, you know, teacher, scholar. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Drop Nation's incredible when we can, you know, surf the wave and get what we get, man. I mean, chocolate chip shaped object next to the sun. They always think this stuff is humongous because they think the sun is humongous, not just 32 miles in diameter, because they think it's so, you know, big because they think it's so far away, right? 96 million miles away. But the same mathematics that they have thought you with thinking everything's far, works for the same mathematical so-called flat earth, you know, formula and models. It's the same exact math, the same equations, the same ratios. So when you do it for the sun being only a few thousand miles, 3,000 or 4,000 miles, instead of 96 million miles, when you look up, ask your senses, is that sun just a few thousand miles away? Does it look close as a mug? And if it's close as a mug, it must not be that big. Maybe Enoch was right. It's only 32 miles in diameter, matching up with the moon at 32 miles in diameter, which is how you get your eclipses, because they're very close. The stars are close. You say Moors come from Mars. Mars is close. Mars is not millions of miles away. All these celestial sky areas are close. Thousands of miles, not millions. Thousands. A few thousand. So you're talking about a celestial sky area, not a spherical, you know what I'm saying, terra firma type of situation. These telescopes are designed to make these things look like little global or isolated bodies. We have to get back in that Giannini, worlds beyond opposed, so we can get all that. So I'll be right getting in that, as well as, you know, getting to some basics, man, with the, you know, even going back to the flat earth clues stuff, the Mark Sargent stuff, because, you know what I'm saying, some of those basics need to be gotten. And that's love to Irvin Reed, man, who, you know, hey, man, surfing the wave, man, true and true, man, new wave, old legend. So we're going to get into all this good stuff, man. So, yeah, we're going to get to that teach, Moses in Exodus, man. Check out part 1. We're going to jump belly flop right into part 2. Man, oh, man. All right, so let's get this joint. It's about 8 minutes. And, yeah, they say secret drop, Islam's biggest secret revealed, the promised land and the rock in the dome. Dome in the rock, rock in the dome. By logic before authority. So yeah, like I said, Lex dropped this, I believe. I didn't catch it yet, but I'm gonna go back and get that as well. I just saw it because Teach dropped it. And yeah, man, hey, man, hold on to your rain boots. We've been saying this is the promised land. We've been getting it out of the books in the 1800s and 1700s. All the connection here with Egypt and Atlantis already being here. Moses and migrating back through with Joshua, clearing out the Canaanites, which are the Moroccan Moabite, which are the whole confederacy against you. Yeah, the dirty Moors and these melanated, these cons against these cons. So if the promised land is here, can we get more substantiating evidence that the drop's been here the whole time? Let's check it out.
Most of you are familiar with this building, but most of you are not familiar with what's inside this building. This is the Dome of the Rock. The only thing inside this building is a rock. A rock that has come to me that is exactly a copy of the Western United States. As you can see, by the end of this video, I know right now you're thinking, that's crazy, that's ridiculous. But by the end of this video, you're going to be able to see absolutely that not only does it look like it, shaped like it, the topography on it is even exactly the same. So stick with me here as I go through some different maps and show you exactly what you're looking at. This is the map showing you that the BLM, U.S. government, federal government, has purchased up 90% of the western United States. The exact states that the Rock of the Dome cover. This is a map showing you the ownership, federal, state, local. The dark green on the left shows you that all the forests in the western United States are owned by the federal government through the Bureau of Land Management. We've all heard about the ranchers having battles, losing their farms and ranches, being taken. And there's a reason why they're being taken. And there's a reason why the map, that rock in the dome, is a copy, an exact match of the western United States. Islam believes that that rock represents the holiest place in the world. This map shows you that the red and yellow areas are areas you will not be living. This is from Agenda 21 with the United Nations. Here's a transparent overlay showing you the states as they line up to this map that are included. Here's a topography map, one of two that I'm going to show you. In many instances, this is an exact match. And here very shortly I'm going to show you how exact it really is.
Now, right quick, we're going to get into this being the promised land. Now, you remember out that, you know what I'm saying, Moabite, Belus, you know, all that. Prince Uriel Bay dropping how Libya is Chicago and all this. Now, he said New York is Jerusalem, but, you know what I mean, based on how this Thothness is working, you know, I think they're giving us some truth, but, yeah, all the drop, I think. Because if they tell us Jerusalem is New York, then Moab still gets the promised land. So they want Moab. This is what the Morocco thinks is all, you know, more Morocco. All this is Morocco. Even though Canaan was requested to leave this area and go to another area allotted for him. You know what I'm saying? If if that, you know what I'm saying? But Most High wasn't having that shit when it came down to Joshua. It was a wrap. It was a wrap. Now, as we know with these giants and situations, a lot of these seeds, these fallen angel seeds, were mixing in with this particular seed of Canaan. These particular Canaanites, some of them, we're mixing in with this fallen angel seed, producing these giants, which were also Canaanites. So you have Joshua not just going to war against, regular ass Canaanites per se, but giants. And you see the evidence of the giants. Now, pay attention to this promised land situation right here. 4 corners, pick land, pick land. Remember, pick land. Let's go.
Why is this? What is this? It's because I believe that the United States is being prepared to be split in 2 pieces, maybe 3, but 2 I believe at the moment. One is going to be given to Islam, to the Muslims. That's the piece you're looking at, the Western United States that has been purchased up by the federal government. It's being prepared to be handed over. The Eastern United States will be given to the Zionists. They will have control. On this map here, you can see the arrows pointing to the spots of topography. On the right-hand side, you'll see the 3 arrows that are pointing to what looks like an eye, the top arrow. The lower arrow is pointing to what looks like nostrils. The lower arrow is pointing to what looks like a mouth. And you can see on the rock, all that topography exists, and on the topo map of the United States, all that exists. It is an exact match, and even looks like a face. And then you have a face in the upper left-hand corner as well.
Y'all see the face, man. I'm not good at seeing face.
Somewhat mind-blowing, but this has been shown to me.
But y'all probably see it. Y'all probably see it. All right, a couple more minutes.
I struggled for a long time trying to figure out why it appeared that Islam was being demonized, but yet at the same time we have Muslims that have infiltrated our system, including Barack Hussein Obama, along with many other Muslims, including the governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is not her name. Just Google Nikki Haley's real name. And it's because we have factions, 2 different factions at least, the Zionists and the Muslims, that, or you might say Islam, have a working agreement, you might say, to split the United States at least into 2 parts. The Eastern United States going to the Zionists. As you know, most of your Zionists come out of Israel. And Israel, the Zionists, not the average Jew, but the Zionist Jew. And there are Zionist Christians and whatever they want to call themselves. But they're going to have the Eastern United States, and the Promised Land is the United States. It's not Israel. The Promised Land that the 12 tribes of Israel are going to have the Eastern United States, and the Promised Land is the United States.
The Promised Land is the United States. It's not United States. The copper color race is the Americans, and he's going to go into the 12 tribes. So if the definition of America, according to the 1828 Webster Noah Dictionary, is the copper color race is found here, okay, then it makes a lot of, a lot of common sense, I would think, to a common individual, that whoever the people are that are ingenious here, indigenous here, their genes relate and resonate here, that whatever these resources, whatever the kingdom, whatever we're really truly discussing when we peel off the Thoth, when we peel away the Morocco, peel away the Moabite, conquering the Canaanite, conquering their gods, their Baals, and we get back to the indigenous truth. What's the truth?
It's not Israel. The promised land that the 12 tribes of Israel were promised, they believe, is the United States.
Bang.
And this rock in the dome of the rock, matching it exactly, the western United States,
The whole thing.
is a lock. There's a lot more to be said about this, guys. I need any of these effort or knowledge that you have, that once you've seen this information and you want to share it to me, share it with me, please do.
Man, all right. So keep that. We're gonna, jump right into Teach. You know what I'm saying? Because Teach led us there, man. So,
yo, what's going on, family?
Let's go.
Coming at y'all again, man, with another video. This is the part 2 to the one I just made. Man, the information just keep coming. Like,
check out part 1.
every time I'm closing out a video, I'm running into more information that I feel I just got to bring out to the people, man. You know what I'm saying? As I be saying, man, I be discovering some of this stuff, like, while I'm presenting it to y'all, man, especially in the last video. It was some crazy dropping there, but, so I just want to hit y'all with this part 2, and hopefully this right here, put a lot of things into perspective, and a lot of things together. So without further ado, let's get in it. All right, I want to start off by reading this comment right here, man, from the brother Winifred Holcomb.
Love to the bro.
What's going on, my brother, man? Shout out to you, bro. This man always come with some of the most interesting perspectives, man, like the way this man be thinking.
Kings.
I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? He just really be coming with some interesting information, some things that'll make you think and go, But so anyway, you know what I'm saying? If you didn't catch part 1, you might want to do that. But so this is what the brother say, man. He say, Hathor is Hagar, okay, and Horus is Ishmael. The Muslim crescent moon and star is a moon, and the child a star. Now think about that now. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds crazy at first, but I'm going to show you how on point the brother really is. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. He say Hathor is Hagar, right? And Horus is Ishmael. So Horus, the sun god, he's referring to Ishmael. Now, the Muslim crescent moon and star is a symbol of the womb, the moon, for the mother, right? And then the child, the star. But we know stars are what? Suns, right? Suns are stars. Okay? Now, when you look at, let me see. Hold on one second. Oh, here you go. Now, look at the Islamic symbol, right? You got the moon, and you got the star, right? Or sun. But the sun or star is inside the moon, right? So it's almost housed in the moon. The same way Horus or Heru would be housed in Hathor, right? Hence her name, Het Heru, meaning house of Horus. Alright, so I'm going to read, the comments. So you say Hathor is Hagar and Horus is Ishmael. The Muslim crescent moon and star is a moon and child star. Alright. You say cows go moo. Moo is vulture. That's why she is also a sky goddess. Nice teacher, preach. I said, bro, that's real now, because in the wilderness she called on El Roy or Ra. Bro, you always have some of the most interesting perspectives. I say, exactly, bro. The cow go moo. That sound is for the mother, mama, ma, moo. Hence why she is called mother goddess and cow goddess, right? Man, that's crazy, bro. So, he come back, he say, yeah, the Moors called this place Mu. In the Egyptian Mut or Mut, silent T, Mu, it means Baby's mother, which is a vulture. Hathor, Hagar, bloodthirsty. The symbol on Hathor's head is actually the moon, bruh. Alright? It's the Egyptian symbol for the moon and is also used for the first day of the month. It also deals with women's menstrual cycle, time of the month. Remember on this movie Suicide Squad or DC Comics, the Enchantress with the same moon symbol? It represents the sun going down even in nighttime. Alright, now, like he say up here, Hathor is Hagar. The Muslim crescent moon and star is a womb, the moon, the wombs, the fertility, the mother goddess, right? Moon, and then the child, the star, the sun goddess, right? Okay, because remember in the last video they say what? The sun god is the male part and he is the counterpart, to the mother goddess, right? So, it's a dualistic thing, which is why her symbol probably would be the moon. You feel what I'm saying? If the sun god symbol is the sun. Alright, but let's keep going. Okay. Yeah, thanks, bro. Okay. This check out this comment right here. He say, it's Islam at its core, bruh. Hathor pregnant with Horus and Hagar pregnant with Ishmael. Hagar was made great too. She was made raw though, feel me? But seems like beef jealousy between Hagar and Sarah over Abraham. The inheritance goes to Isaac, feel me? It's beef over the land. That's why Arabic Muslims think it's their land. LOL. I say, bro, what? Boy, you
Bang. And it's all about land rights. You remember the map, you know what I'm saying? Everything, Atlantis, this is Mexim, northeast, southwest, Mexim, this is Mexim, that Mexim. And they made a confederacy for the whole thing, and the whole thing is Morocco, according to what we're just dealing with, you know what I'm saying? But according to the creator in actual order, heck nah, man. Y'all lucky if you get a lot. You lucky if Lot's children get a lot anywhere. Are they guaranteed based on this trickery? Signing a deal with the devil against their own peoples. Their own peoples, man. So, man, this is a high level conversation going on, man. So, dig on it. Let's keep surfing the wave. Brother, as usual, is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Truly amazing at the flow, man. So, love to Winifred, love to the whole fam bam. Let go.
Good point. You feel what I'm saying? Because, first of all, check out Winifred Holcomb. His channel, and he got a video, right? It's like a 4-part series or a 3-part series, right? Called The City of Abraham Found. Abraham, Sobek Rock, Sobek Ray.
Major.
Right? So he's building this connection between Abraham and Sobek. Now that's crazy because remember this article we've been building in when you doing your research on Hathor. Look what it say. Scroll down. I remember catching it. It said Hathor became seen as the wife of Sobek, who is considered to be an aspect of Amun-Ra. Yet Sobek was associated with Seth, the enemy of Horus. Okay? Now,
wow.
Hey, check that out, though. He said Hathor.
And he just broken it down how Hagar is Hathor. So Hagar and Abraham, Hathor and Sobek. Or should I say Sobek, who is Abraham. So Sobek and Hathor is Abraham and Hagar. All right, let's go.
Hathor, the wife of Sobek. The brother was making a Abraham and Sobek religion. Connection. So to say, you know what I'm saying, what he said in the comments, it kind of make you think. He say Hathor pregnant with Horus and Hagar pregnant with Ishmael. Hagar was made great too. She was made raw though, feel me? But it seems like beef jealousy between Hagar and Sarah over Abraham. The inheritance goes to Isaac, you feel me? It's beef over the land. So he's saying, Abraham, Hagar is where Ishmael comes from. Bam, okay? You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like you say, it's beef over the land. That's why all Muslim Arabic think is there. So, And I was like, that might be why, you know, your girl Hathor is called, you know, she's always called the mistress. You know what I'm saying? But so, like I say, we're finna build on that, because I'm gonna show you how on point the brother is, because Hathor is the cow goddess, right, associated with the horns. Remember, we digged into the horn goddess last time, right? And it said what? That let me see, hold on, let me get that for you. Okay, excuse me, y'all. So they say that Hathor is the female aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Being the pole, the opening the womb, the cow goddess, the mother god. And then you have the masculine side, which is the horn god, right? So let's dig into that, you know what I'm saying? Because she say that Horus is Ishmael, the child of the star. You feel what I'm saying? Which is the sun, right? So when you go to the horn god tab, remember we was building on this tab in the last video, right? And the horn god represents the male part of the religion's duotheistic theological system. The other part being the female triple goddess or mother goddess, right? Mother goddess or cow goddess, right? The womb or the moon. Okay. Now remember what it said. The Wiccan god, speaking of the horn god, right? In traditional and mainstream Wicca, the horn god is viewed as the masculine side of divinity, being both equal and opposite to the goddess, right? The Wiccan god himself can be represented in many forms, including as the sun god. Okay, so back, right? So going back to what the brother say, he say Hathor is Hagar and Horus is Ishmael. Okay, so we finna dig into that. We finna go to Genesis right quick and dig on the story.
Let's go.
Okay, before I do that, I just want to show y'all something real quick, just to show you how like it's crazy when understanding. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, Hathor is at times the mother, daughter, and wife of Ra. See what I'm saying? And like Isis is at times described as the mother of Horus. Okay, so see, she described as like the mother and the wife. So you see it saying the counterparts as in duality, right? You got the husband and the wife, but then you also got this mother and son relationship, right? Hence, she's the house of Heru, right? Heru is housed in her, so, you know, probably in that womb, that moon, you know what I'm saying, was birthed that sun god, you know what I'm saying, or however you want to look at it. I just want to hit you with that, just to put that in perspective. All right, so we're gonna build right here on Genesis chapter 16. We're gonna read this chapter. Okay, and it says Sarah and Hagar. All right. Now Sarah, Abram's wife, bare him no children. She had a handmaid, an Egyptian, right, whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be.
Right quick, my bro. So I mean, we got to really connect this. Hagar, he's gonna do a much better job than I'm about to do right here. But in just a quick pick, Hagar, Hagar is a Egyptian, which means she has a mommy and daddy who's so-called Egyptian, right? Mommy and daddy is Egyptian, which means she's Egyptian. So we're only talking about Egypt. And since they're going through the maternal, these Moabites, they're tracing their maternal lineage ultimately to Egypt. Thus your Thoth, Muhammad. Lego.
Means that I may obtain children by her. And Abraham hearkened to the voice of Sarah. And Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian. Okay. After Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived, and when she saw that she conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. Okay. And Sarah said unto Abram, My wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom, And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judged between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarah, Behold, thy maid is in thy hand, do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarah dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. And the angel of the Lord found her by the fountain of water in the wilderness, right? That's important. Now, it's also important to note how the angel of the Lord is dealing with Hagar. Like, whenever Hagar is in distress, even though she's Egyptian, the Most High comes to her aid for some reason. Now, that's strange. Or an angel of the Lord who's doing it by the command of the Most High, or by his own will. Or
Indeed, I mean, the Most High is raising up a mighty nation. Now, these are Abraham's seeds. These are Sobek seeds. All right, so they are blessed. They were given kingdoms. But in the long run, were they created as order or chaos? Clearly, they were created as static, and you need static, but static will stop you if you don't vibrate above it. So yeah, the Most High is raising up this mighty kingdom as static to whoop on your ass, to be a thorn in your side until you choose up, suit up.
Can't command somebody else we don't know. But we can see divine intervention is dealing with Hagar for some strange reason. Okay? But we know why eventually, because she is to give birth to a son of another covenant. Alright? And he said, Hagar, Sarah's maid, whence comest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarah. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Return to thy mistress. Right? Return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it may not be numbered for multitude. Right? Right? So, her son, her seed, you know what I'm saying, is going to be multiplied. You know what I'm saying? And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. Alright? And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brothers. And she called the name of the Lord and spake unto her. And she called the name of the Lord that spake unto her, the God that seeth me. For she said, Have I also here looked after me that seeth me? Okay. Wherefore the well was called Ber-la-ha-roi. Alright. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. Okay. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name Hagar bare Ishmael, right? And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. Alright, now check this out. Alright, so we're going to jump over to Genesis 21 real quick. God protects Hagar and Ishmael, okay? The child grew up and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which she had born unto Abraham mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be here with my son, even with Isaac, right? And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman. And all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for Isaac shall thy seed be called, right? And also of thy son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed, right? And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water and gave it to Hagar and put it on her shoulder and the child and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs. And she went and sat down against him a good way off, as it were a bow shot, for she said, let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of God called Hagar out of heaven, right? So he's dealing with her again, right? And said unto her, what aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard thy voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thy hand, for I will make him a great nation, right? And God opened her eyes and saw a well of water, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water and gave the lad to drink. And God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. Now this is very important, right? So he dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. All right, and he dwelt in the wilderness of Peru. Okay, I think if I'm not mistaken, that should be around that area, that Moab, Sinai area, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. And his mother took him a wife out of a land of Egypt. So even Ishmael's wife was Egyptian. His mother was Egyptian, and his wife was Egyptian. Right? All right. So let's go back to 16. There's something right there I want to point out.
So again, his mother was Egyptian, his wife was Egyptian. You're only talking Egypt when you talk Muhammad, when you talk Ishmael, when you talk all this, you're only still talking Egypt. You're only talking about all these wars, Prester John, King David, against Egypt. Right? Then you got the Persian Medes and all this other stuff, but still Ishmaelites and the Confederacy, Psalms 83, which is basically just Egypt. Remember, under the permission of the Pharaoh, do the Moabites roam under the permission of the Pharaoh? You just talking Thoth. You have to get off of the 440 hijack conscious grid of Thoth. You just talking so-called Egypt, which is what? Atlantis, which what? Sunk. The Most High sunk it to show you. He says, look around at the desolate places of Moab. Look at Egypt, it's desolate. Look at it. Now, do you still desire it? You still want Hollywood?
Okay. So remember what it said. Now he dwelt in the wilderness and he became an archer. Now what was also important from the verse, well, from 16, is this right here, starting at 11. And shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. Right? And then it says, check out what it says in verse 12. And he will be a wild man.
Bang.
Bang. And he will be a wild man, and his hand will be against every man. So check that out right there. And he will be a wild man. Excuse me. Okay, so we're making this connection between Horus and Ishmael, right? This sun god and Ishmael, right? Or this horn god and Ishmael. Okay? Like it said, right? The horn god, the wicked god himself, can be represented in many forms, including as the sun god. But now check this out. Also up here, right? Remember this? The Wiccan belief, the horn god, is associated with nature, wilderness, right? Sexuality. We got that part in the last video. And hunting. Now remember, Ishmael went into the wilderness. He dwelt in the wilderness. He became an archer, right? So you got the horn god associated with nature and wilderness and hunting. Now, check this out. Okay, the horn god is the personification of the life force energy in animals in the wild. Now remember, that life force energy, you know that's associated with Ra, right? Ra is also associated with Heru, right? Hold on, right here. I missed the most important part. Say, for Wiccans, the horn god is the personification of the life force energy, right, associated with Ra, Heru, and animals in the wild, and is associated with the wilderness, virility, whatever that is, and the hunt. Okay, so associated with wilderness and the hunt. Alright, I think this right here go ahead and gonna go ahead and knock it out the park. You feel me? And bring it all together. Okay, so in psychology, right? That's that's I feel is an important and accurate subtitle for this tab right here. Okay, because check out what it says. Okay, I'm gonna just read. It says Sherry Salmon considers the image of the horn god in Jungian terms as an archetypal protector and mediator of the outside world to the objective psyche. In her theory, the male psyche's horn god frequently compensates for inadequate fathering. Now, remember, right now we looking at this particular correlation to be with Ishmael. Okay, so think about that. Okay, he say in her theory, the male psyche horn god frequently compensates for inadequate fathering. Now check this out. When first encountered, the figure is a dangerous, hairy, chthonic wild man, possessed of kindness and intelligence. Okay, bam. I mean, that's what we want, right? Okay, humanistic psychology. Following the work of Robert Bly and the mythopoetic men's movement, John Rowan purposed the horn god as a wild man, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction, and he will be a wild man. So as you can see, wild man was blue. You can click on wild man. We went to wild man, said the wild man also wild men of the woods. Wild men of the woods, wood wolves, is a mystic figure that appears in artwork and literature of medieval Europe, classic mythology, Roman gods, the woodland. Okay, there's a lot of stuff in here, man. When you look at this, man, you know what I'm saying? Origins, Nebuchadnezzar. Remember Nebuchadnezzar turned into that Enkidu, the Epic of Gilgamesh, and associated with this. But what we want is there was something in the interpretations. Right here, I'm gonna read this paragraph. Right, it says that as the name implies, the key characteristics of the wild man is his wildness. Civilized citizens are regarded as wild men as civilized citizens regarded wild men as beings of the wilderness. Regarded wild men as beings of the wilderness. Let's see. Well, and he will be a wild man. And God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness. Okay? So, civilized citizens regarded wild men as beings of the wilderness, and as such represent the antithesis of civilization. Scholar Dorothy Yamamoto has noted that the wilderness inhabited by the wild men does not truly indicate a place totally beyond human reach, but rather the liminal zones at the edge of civilization. Okay, that's important. A place inhabited by hunters, criminals, religious hermits, herdsmen, and other who frequent the margins of human activity. Alright, other characteristics develop and transmute in different contexts from earlier times are sources associated wild men with hairiness. By the 12th century, they were almost invariably described as having a coat of hair covering their entire bodies except for their hands, feet, faces, above their long beards and the breasts and chins of the females. Okay. Coming back, man, the connection that the brothers talk about right there, man, is definitely valid. You know, we can definitely see that. We can definitely see the sun god connection with the horn god and the wild man. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we can see all that. What's even interesting and even deeper about it, you know what I'm saying, is it's like the brother say right here. It's Islam at its core, bro. Hathor pregnant with Horus and Hagar pregnant with Ishmael. Hagar was made great too. She made Ra though, right? Okay, so think about that. You know what I'm saying? She was made great too. Like I said, all the kings would come from her seed, you know what I'm saying, from her line, depending on this particular covenant and covenant with Ishmael. Okay? But it seems like beef jealousy between Hagar and Sarah over Abraham. The inheritance goes to Isaac, feel me? It's been beef over the land. That's why Arabic Muslims think it's their land. Right? That's crazy, right? We're gonna get into a little bit of that. Okay, but this video right here, the brother Lex put us on. We're gonna dig.
Man, so he gonna dig into the video that we just got. And he got so much more he's digging on in that part, man. You know what I'm saying? This joint right here. So, yeah. And one more time, I mean, you know, in case we didn't quite hear what they said, I think it's right around. I'm just going to go here, yeah, man. I don't know where it's at, man. Let's just dig on it.
And Israel, or excuse me, the Zionists, not the average Jew, but the Zionist Jew, and there are Zionist Christians and whatever they want to call themselves, but they're going to have the eastern United States and the Promised Land is the United States.
The Promised Land.
The Promised Land that the 12 tribes of Israel were promised, they believe, is the United States. And this
is the United States.
Rock in the dome of the rock, matching it exactly, the western United States.
So that's just a portion, but the whole Promised Land is the Americas. United States. Americas. Copper color racist found here. So love, man, love, love, love. I want to take that right in to my brother Irvin Reed. We're going to take this, man. You're going to see how all this connects, man. You're going to see what this wave is all about. Is it a new wave, brother? I think this is ancient, man, but I know what he means. He's digging on this, you know what I'm saying, vibration here, man. It's just, it keeps being renewed, so it is a new wave. It's an old wave and a new wave. It's a consistent wave. It's the consciousness you're swimming in, right? It's the consciousness you're swimming in, right? Hold up. I said, it's the consciousness you're swimming in. Where's that tree drop? Man, let's get a little more of this, man, right quick. Actually, what I'm going to do, yeah, let me get a little more of this and go right into the Urban Read. All things vibrate. Energy, frequency.
When you first say water to people, they think, oh, you know, it's just, you know, the stuff I drink every day and I bathe in it. I mean, what could be so special? Let's take, for example, an experiment that was done. And this is where I get really excited because it also relates to the search for communication with other star systems.
Okay.
You see in this experiment done, and this is in Water, the Great Mystery, where they take a pitcher of water, and they separate the pitcher of water into two pitchers of water, and they separate both pitchers at a great distance. And when you expose information to one pitcher of water, the other at a distance restructures itself according to that information instantly, using atomic clocks.
That's incredible.
Instantly. And what amazes me about that is over and over and over again, no matter how far you go back, and going back, actually, there's a Russian scientist named Alexander Chejevsky, whom in the 1930s noticed that bacteria in water would constantly become agitated during the exact moment of solar flares. And he noticed this over and over and over again. Whenever there was a solar flare, the activation of the bacteria going crazy happened before the solar radiation hit the Earth. In fact, it takes 8.3 minutes for sun solar radiation to travel from the sun's 93 million miles from Earth to get here.
So, see? Oh, that gigantic sun is 96 million miles. Look at it. I mean, can you even conceive something coming from 96 million miles away? Of course not. That's why they tell you it, because you can't conceive it. So you'll believe it unless you research it. All right, so this energy is coming from much closer. Only a few thousand miles. Not 96 gigantic gaseous ball, but a small energy, some people call it a portal, some people call it an opening, some people call it Tomas. All right, whatever it is, it nurtures us, it energizes us, it chooses up. We don't worship it. It's within the firmament. It was created for you. It is a good thing. It is not to be worshipped. Nothing celestial is, no images, no other frequency, but your frequency, which is the frequency that created this energy. It is the energy that this energy is swimming in. All right?
The bacteria knew it instantly. Why? Why did the bacteria in the water know? Well, the interesting thing is our sun is 93% hydrogen, and there's oxygen in the sun. And that means that these two bodies of water at a distance are actually talking to each other instantaneously. And the bacteria in the water gets activated because the water is receiving this information. Now, when we consider the vast distances, for example, the distance between our Milky Way galaxy and the Andromeda galaxy, which is 2.2 million light years away, if you were communicating using radio waves with Andromeda, if we could, it would take over 2.2 million years to get there. But yet, the hydrogen in the...
Will it take 2.2 million years if these things aren't millions of miles away? I mean, when we're connected to these other energies in connected areas, they are a lot closer. And once you get that, you realize that you are the center of it all, and it's all revolving around you.
The stars in the Andromeda galaxy and the hydrogen in our stars and the spiraling arms of the Milky Way galaxy and the water in our own bodies can communicate instantaneously over the...
See, you're onto something, David.
You see, there's something going on here. Now, what does it mean if scientists can prove that this little element that is virtually existent everywhere in the universe can communicate with different bodies of distant hydrogen instantaneously, and that it has consciousness, and that the consciousness of water is kind of like Professor Rustam Roy at Penn State calls an alphabet. You can give it new words and new sentences, and therefore it structures itself differently according to the information you give it. And
frequency 432. Remember the somatics. So if water has consciousness, then the air, the wind has consciousness, then the entire creation is alive. Your trees are communicating beyond just, some minuscule level. They are it. They are the energy of the Creator in their own grid. That is your grid. When you tap into it, you do control the elements. You do have power and energy connecting the fire, the water, the air, the land. Adam. When you get the land, you get the fire. You get the fire, you get the water, you get the wind, you get the air, you get the consciousness. That is Adam. That is natural. That is the Creator. Plants
when
can
you
speak.
kind of add all the pieces together, and you realize that no super intelligent civilization would be broadcasting anything in the radio spectrum because it travels at the speed of light and it's much too slow. And you're starting to see this evidence of action at a distance through hydrogen aqueous systems like the sun and bodies of water and telepathy. The evidence is overwhelming.
Something about these people who actually know the truth. The rest of us here, we're sitting around in cyberspace and on the internet speculating about whether any of this stuff is real, and yet here you have people that are walking up to a crashed disc and looking into the eyes of a wounded or dying alien. I mean, you can't even imagine what that's actually like if you're actually there. There's no more doubt in your mind at that point that we're not alone in the cosmos. And in the course of Sergeant Clifford Stone's work, he was given briefing documents which gave very precise descriptions of all 57 varieties of ET, so that if he came up to a crashed extraterrestrial wreckage, that he would know who he was dealing with when he got there and what kind of characteristics they had.
Yeah. So if you're talking about different species of what they're calling extraterrestrial, they're trying to think, they're spinning you inside out. ET, meaning that you're on a ball and something's outside of your ball. All right. But if they're in, when you get the comprehension of the barrier that Thoth is referring to in tablet number 8 in the Emerald tablets, then you understand that there's a frequency barrier. When people have these psychic, you know what I'm saying, they can see the future, they can see to a point, they can see until they get to a white light, so to speak, a barrier. There's a barrier for them. There's a barrier for all the magicians. There's a barrier for Thoth. Him teaching you how to write brought your consciousness down, and he trapped you there in this frequency, So we got to get back, or we just have to get to a point of comprehension that we are communicating, we are connected. When we get to the being of things, we get to the I am of things, then we get to the indigenous of things. And with that, I'm going to turn it to my man, my man, Irvin Reed, with that new wave old legend from Arthur. Get that King Arthur drop, that Prester John drop. Check it out, subscribe, dig on it, and let's take it into the dismount.
Oh, what's up, everybody? Hope everyone is enjoying their day. Hope everyone is being blessed and to see their blessings that's given to us by the Most High, the Creator. Just starting off with someone that has indigenous flute.
Oh, yeah.
My man drops.
Come on.
8432 to drop. Go check him out. Yeah, I like the flute. Everybody else be bringing the war drums and stuff, but, I like the flute, man. Soothing to me. Helps me regulate my thoughts a little bit in a more kinder way.
Dope.
So, anyway, I'm going to hop right on to it. We're going to go ahead and roll forward with the information, with search for Prester John as always, but that indigenous truth, which seems to be one and the same, right?
Hey.
Brother King don't.
Hey man, love to this brother, man. This is Drop Nation, man, and y'all dig out these suites, man. There's multiple different suites for you to dig on. Enjoy it. We will be, ramping them up and getting a whole, flow going with independent artists. Once again, love to Professor Spear. He's one of the first, just wonderful entrepreneurs that, came on our platform, came on the Drop Radio Live, man, and just, shared his mucus-free situation, man. Just, it's a beautiful thing, man. So check out Professor Spear. He's going to be back, one of the first interviews we do in March when we get everything cracking again. I thank you for your patience because we're going to do it right. And, when we got a good thing, we don't have to rush it, man. We can just take it, move like giants. So thank you all for the energy. Thank you, Irvin Reed, for this flute. Let's go, man.
Just let this play out for a little bit, man, just so we can go through this and enjoy the information and time shared together. Check out all the stuff that my man got, as well as the videos and stuff like that. But today we're going to talk about a new legend, y'all. Sprang up this King Arthur. Now, I said before I was going to bring up other legends, and I want to go back to this one because it's something that we might have overlooked, or, again, like always, babies, with the bath water. So, what I want to touch bases on is we're going to go through this real quick, and we're going to go down this rabbit hole, and it's going to be kind of trippy because I want y'all to apply the symbolism and the understanding. Now, when we're talking about King Arthur, going being a legend. This legend extends out of the what they state is the late 5th and early 6th century. So we're gonna go through this information real quick and see how it's see how it applies to what we know. So in light of my brother Kingdrop, we're gonna go ahead and do all the basics. Do all the basics because he said we're gonna start from the beginning. We're gonna do it like it's the first time. So I'm gonna do this like it's the first time. And despite how I feel about it. All right. So, as always, the grandiose nugget of truth here. Okay. We'll go through the parallels and timelines, history. Okay. I'm going to bring up this little information right here. And this is where it all kind of starts. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Listen up close. Now, this video here, again, viewers in the earlier chapters of Pastor John, Brother Kingdrop laid this one on us, and it has become a foundation work, a foundation stone of what we know and how we can actually find the indigenous truth. Now, we're going to listen to this gentleman right here and recapture the basis of information. Brother King, I hope this ain't too loud, so I'm going to just turn this down just a little bit. Just a little bit. Because I want you guys to actually hear this information. I hope y'all can hear clearly enough. So let's move forward. This is parallel timelines in history.
And listen up. I think it's going to play a little soft, so listen up. We're going to get back into the ancient knowledge and true chronology. But yeah, remember the Anatoly for the man, go. Listen up, get the drop. You know what I mean? And I love to whoever dropped this on me. Or, drop this. I think, wherever this came from, man, because this has been a wonderful foundational piece. Let's go.
All right, let's bring it.
I know it's real low, y'all, and I think what I'm going to do, just because I don't want to, again, man, fair use all up in your caboose bone. I'm going to go to it, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's just go there right quick. Let's just take a side, because I want, the brothers bringing it out. I want the point to be heard and understood and overstood. All right, man. So, we seen it, and we're going to get back into it, and it's okay to be reminded, because it's very, very, very important, this work of this Russian cartographer.
So it's extremely difficult to use the paleography to verify the chronology. Although people use it then to make comparisons. We have an obvious circular argument here. What you need to always bear in mind is how things get dated, particularly in ancient times. I mean, in modern times, we know to some extent how things get dated. But imagine you're a historian, okay, from say 300 AD or 500 AD, possibly even 1200 AD or later. First of all, it's not entirely clear that your intention in writing history is the same as the intention of a modern historian, namely to.
So their intentions won't be the same as yours. Let's go.
Give a faithful chronicle of events. We cannot take this for granted at all. As a matter of fact, it's a fair assumption that many ancient writings had a sort of moralistic purpose,
They were much more in keeping with, like Roman histories was showing, the grandeur of certain figures, giving uplifting accounts and so forth. This is very, very important because the results that we're talking about are, in some cases, are going to look and seem so preposterous to you that you will be very tempted to just turn your mind off or turn your back to the whole thing. And what Ellen and I are above all trying to do is not make you throw out the data. You may discard Flamenco's interpretation of the data, you may discard the interpretations that we have of the data, but you shouldn't throw out the data. In my opinion, the data is incontrovertible. You see on the right-hand side, this is the Roman Empire from 82 BC to the 3rd century AD. On the left-hand side, we have the Roman Empire from the 3rd century through the 6th century AD. And we are writing the Roman emperors in the order in which they occur according to the chronicles, according to the histories, even according to modern history. To read the diagram, the spaces, say from here to here, represent the length of reign of that emperor. So, in other words, here's 41 years, a long reign. This diagram is supposed to show a kind of symmetry between a period of time in which you have a sequence of Roman rulers, and then a period of time more than 300 years later, in which you have another sequence of Roman emperors. Now, let's start here with Augustus. Okay, he reigns for 41 years, and Constantine the Great Augustus reigns for 31 years. And you say, well, big deal. I agree, that's 10 years difference. But follow what happens after here. You have Tiberius compared to Constantius II, 23 and 24. When we come to Caligula, it's 4 years and 2 years. Caligula is paired to Julian the Apostate. Then we have Claudius, 13 years, and Valentinian, 11 years, and so forth. Now, so you understand the principle behind the figure. It is meant to show the symmetry between lengths of reign of emperors who are understood to have reigned more than 300 years apart. Toward the end of this period in Roman history, we have a sequence of 4 emperors who all reigned for less than 1 year. Okay, they were died or they got off by the legions or whatever it was. And that's paired by a sequence of rulers who all reigned less than 1 year on the other side. Okay, very, very conspicuous. Now, the other thing that's interesting is this period, sort of in Roman history, ends with an invasion by the Goths, where you have Caracalla. Oddly enough, exactly on the other side, you have a second, let's put it this way, quote, unquote, second invasion of the Goths. Okay, on the left, we have the Roman Empire from the 1st century BC to the 3rd century AD. Then we have the Holy Roman Empire from the 10th century to the 13th century. In other words, on the left here, we have largely the same people who are that we had on the right-hand side in the previous one, but now they're being compared to rulers of the Holy Roman Empire. Okay, basically about 1,050 years later.
1,050 years. So these are 1,000 years apart. You see how they're matching up on their, chronology. These events that are happening now. Anatoly Fomenko, when we got that, said that these, histories were taken from these medieval times, so to speak, and dropped back. So they were dropped 300 years back, 1,000 years back, and so on. So you're having different names and titles and different rulers in different places, but the same doggone story. So which one is the phantom? Which one is the duplicate? There's duplicates. Your history was repackaged in the so-called Middle Dark Ages, so to speak, and then came their emergence of light. Then came their renaissance, their rebirth. And with their rebirth also came the rebirth of the Moabite for a time. Let's go.
And you see that we have another symmetry. Okay, this is how it's reported. But remember, we have to bracket almost everything of this kind over here, because we don't know what the veracity of the chronicles is, what the intention of the chronicles was, or even what the people really understood by it.
I don't think anybody is in any position, really, to make a hypothesis. You get a million ideas occurring to you when you really look into this. Many people that I talk to, they want to get a hypothesis, they want to go off and run with it, to the exclusion of everything else before they understand anything about really what's going on. And I think that people have no business making hypotheses about this until they really understand the extent and the depth and the weight of what he has done. Any really nailed down hypothesis. Obviously lots of crazy ideas are going to occur to you, but...
Oh, don't worry. We're not going to nail anything down. We're going to surf the wave. We're going to have a lot of crazy ideas and theories. And don't you come over here playing with our theories. Don't you come over here playing with our hypotheses. Don't worry about how nailed down it is, lady. Just drop the drop.
You know, because they occur to me all the time, you know, and I try to follow them out as much as I can. But, I mean, we are not making hypotheses here because really we're not in a position to.
Remember our little pattern up here? Okay, where we have a little block of history here, and then we shift it back and so forth.
I mean, what would your crazy theory be? What would your crazy hypothesis be when you found out that all of your history is nothing but duplicates and phantoms? And you're like, man, will the real Eminem please stand up? Will the real King David please stand up? Will the real Abraham, will the real all these things stand up? You're looking for the actual energy, frequency, vibration, the actual reality. You're not just, oh, I'm in it for truth. You're in it for reality. You're escaping the illusion. You're escaping the thoughts and thoughts of Thoth. You're in it for reality. So if reality is that these, you know what I'm saying, timelines and all this has been filled with these duplicates and phantoms, as Federico says, then that means that you've been given an illusion of his story. What is your story?
His opinion is the only legitimate history. Now, this doesn't mean that nothing happened before.
Listen up. The only history, the only legitimate history. It doesn't mean nothing didn't happen before this. But the only true, legitimate history, verifiable history happened when?
That our documents address themselves to is from the period of 300 AD up to modern times. Everything else is a projection of that material, that historical material, back in time due to the errors that scholars made in trying to synchronize relative blocks of history. Remember?
Back in time, so they took it and threw it back in time. Under different names, different places, confusion.
There are three shifts. One's 333 years, one is 1,053 years, and the other one is 1,778 years. He has an account.
333, 1,053.